Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, do you remember the Occupy Wall Street movement? It's nothing but a dim memory now. When it first started, it seemed like it was going to be a wave of change throughout the country. And I used to go down to their location in Los Angeles to see what was going on. There are still some videos that I have up from that. And I attended some of their meetings. And their meetings were awful. They were boring. They had no real goals. They just focused on their own process. And they had a complete disdain for any kind of real political involvement. So I stopped going down there. Because even though I admired their idealism, I saw just how ineffectual they were. And so the Occupy movement faded away, and it accomplished nothing. Now we have the Black Lives Matter movement, and so far it has gotten the most publicity for disrupting 2 campaign appearances by Bernie Sanders. And it's understandable that they would want to attract attention to their music, but maybe before they did that, they should have Googled him. Sanders has a 50-year history of standing up for civil rights that includes marching with Martin Luther King back in the day. It includes getting arrested for taking part in civil rights protests. When he was a student at the University of Chicago, he was active in the Congress on Racial Equality and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And like I said, he was arrested by the police for protesting segregation and was labeled as an outside agitator by the police in Chicago. He was part of the March on Washington. He opposed Bill Clinton's welfare reform, which he called an assault on the poor and on minorities. He has always opposed the death penalty and was against almost every single crime bill which he stated that they disproportionately punish black people. So he was talking about this long before it was fashionable. And he was one of the few white members of Congress to oppose those bills. And to oppose the bill which eliminated Pell Grants for prisoners. He has had a 93% rating from the ACLU and a 97% rating from the NAACP. In 1988, he endorsed Jesse Jackson's run for the presidency. And over the past year, he has made statements condemning police brutality 7 different times. He's also spoken out about Republican attempts at voter suppression and to deprive black people of their voting rights. Now, it's true that economic injustice is his main message. It's his main cause. But is this a less important cause than racial injustice? As a matter of fact, aren't the two totally tied together? Now, it could be that Black Lives Matter activists didn't know these things about Sanders. And there's no excuse for that. They should have known. Instead of disrupting him, maybe they should have been reaching out to him and partnering with him. It appears to me that in their ignorance, they looked at Bernie Sanders and simply saw an elderly white man and nothing else, which makes them as guilty of racial profiling as the police that they're protesting against. These people are young, they're idealistic, they're inexperienced. Maybe they should make an effort to contact and receive advice from the old civil rights warriors that are still here. I'm sure they would benefit greatly from that advice, and that those guys would be perfectly happy to help them out, to help them refine their tactics, to help them focus their cause. So far, they have only targeted Democrats, who are much more friendly to their goals than Republicans. There are 18 Republican candidates for president, and Black Lives Matter has not put in an appearance at a single one of their events. Why have they not appeared at meetings of the Police Benevolent Association and police unions? If they are not willing to confront the problems at its heart, how are they ever going to accomplish anything? If the Black Lives Matter movement is going to be more than a hashtag, they need to be a lot smarter than they are being right now. They need to cultivate their friends rather than antagonize them. And they need to confront the opposition, which they have not done yet. They need to be smarter and more focused in the right direction. If they don't, they will face the same fate as the Occupy movement. They will fade into obscurity without accomplishing anything. Black lives do matter. But unless they get their shit together, the movement will not. Thanks for listening.